All right, gang. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get this thing started. So congratulations on being here. As I said, you're starting the week off the right way, and I mean that. While your competition is in bed and not even thinking about what they're going to have for breakfast, let alone what they're going to do in the business today, you are up and working on your mindset. And I have to tell you that really, it's the thing I want to talk about this morning is mindset. When you think about those who are successful in life, gang, I can tell you that the number one reason, you take a look at anybody you admire in life, in history, or somebody you know personally who is highly successful, when you look at those people, history is just replete with this, that those who are successful have one thing in common, regardless of what it is that they do. It's that they have a powerful mindset. I'm telling you that the foundation of success, whatever your goal or goals are, is going to be your mindset. And so that's what I want to talk about this morning. The question is, what mindset do you have to have? What are the key components? What does that look like? There are just three simple things I want to talk with you about this morning. Three very simple concepts when it comes to mindset and the process of success. Because here's what I believe, and I mean this firmly. At my core, despite what most people think, people will see those who are successful, those who are rich, those who have a lot of money, because one of the ways we determine in this country, especially if you're successful, is if you're rich. And I happen to agree with that, regardless of what you might think about money. I believe that money is a good thing, because if you have more than what you need, you can always go out there and stop focusing on yourself and focus on others and make a difference in their lives, like Mother Teresa did, for example. Took a vow of poverty, but yet it took billions to do what she did. Money's a good thing. And you take a look at those who are most successful in life when it comes to money, I can tell you they didn't get there by accident. It took them adhering to a process of doing things that most people aren't willing to do. And that's the thing. Doing what it is that the process required in order to be successful. And I firmly believe it does not matter who you are or where you came from or what your past circumstances are or what they are currently, that you can be highly successful in whatever it is that you want to do, especially in the business of real estate. I mean, my heavens, if a kid from Orangeville, Utah, who grew up in trailers, whose dad, is an ex-con, who both parents didn't have high school diplomas, right, who failed out of ninth grade English, who flunked out of law school, who ended up in his car in his first 4 years of real estate because that's the only place he could afford to be for a period of time. If I can do that, I'm telling you, you can too. Not that. You can be successful in real estate. And so look, I want to talk about mindset. So there are three just very simple, but I believe powerful concepts here as it relates to mindset and the process of being successful in whatever it is that you want to achieve in life. And number one is this: don't give up. And I want you to write that down. Write down those three powerful words. Don't give up. Three of the most important words that you can remember. Don't give up. I want you to think about this. Whether it's Thomas Edison, who had to invent over 1,000 versions of the light bulb in order to find one that was actually commercially viable that would work. Over 1,000, which meant, if you think about it, Thomas Edison had to fail 999 times before he found the one that worked. But he never would have found the one that worked had he not failed, and as John C. Maxwell would say, forward with each failed attempt. It was the fact that he stayed on the pathway of trying to find the bulb that would work that actually allowed him to do it. So my question for you is this: how do you respond to rejection? How do you respond to quote unquote failure, right? How most people look at it. How do you respond? Are you staying on the pathway to success, or when you face a challenge or rejection or you lose out on an opportunity, do you get off the pathway? Do you beat yourself up mentally and emotionally and then respond physically in a very negative way? Whether it's literally or figuratively, curl up into the fetal position. J.K. Rowling, gang, for example, do you realize that imagine this, it blows my mind. The woman is worth billions of dollars. She's worth billions of dollars because she wrote some books. That's crazy. And her first book that she wrote, she was rejected by 12 publishers, 12 of them. In fact, many of them told her, don't quit your day job. And I guarantee you, all of those editors, those people who work for those publishing companies, you take all of their net worth combined, they're not worth as much as J.K. Rowling. Her story exemplifies the idea, don't give up. Walt Disney, he applied for financing for his idea of this thing that we now call Disney and Disneyland and all the things that it encompasses. But when he started his journey in the very beginning, he applied to over 300 banks, and over 300 banks told him no. And yet he didn't give up. He kept pushing forward. Are you starting to see a common theme here? Whether we're talking Edison, J.K. Rowling, Walt Disney, they all faced rejection. I mean, Disney prospected and he was told no. J.K. Rowling prospected. She knocked on the doors of publishers and they said no. And yet both of them did not stop prospecting. And it was because they didn't, they became successful. Oprah Winfrey, same thing. Back in the 70s when she was working in her first job in the media, where she was actually on television in Chicago, she was fired from it and told that she needs to find another profession, that she would never be successful at it. And yet, of course, we know the story. And then think about this one, Michael Jordan, he's won how many rings? 6 rings? 6 rings. And arguably, it is said, the best basketball player ever to exist, and I happen to agree, without a question. For those of you who might think otherwise, thank you, BJ. He is Michael Jordan, the man. But you think about it. My favorite quote of Michael Jordan is this, and I'm just going to paraphrase it because I don't have it memorized, but he says, I missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I lost almost 300 games, missed 26 game-winning shots, and as a result, my team lost. I failed over and over and over again in life. And then he finished it up by saying, and that is why I succeed. So I'm just going to ask you one final question as it relates to this particular, thank you, BJ. Yeah, that was a Michael commercial. But I want to ask you this question as it relates to this idea of not giving up. Are you the person who, when the going gets tough, you get rough and keep going? Or are you the person when the going gets tough, you bow out? Think about it. How consistently are you prospecting? How do you respond when somebody rejects you, hangs up on you, says mean and nasty things? How do you respond to that? What is your mindset? See, gang, what I believe is that as it relates to prospecting, it is a pathway of no's leading to victory. In other words, the yes. See, there's no way to get to that destination of victory of the yes if you don't walk that pathway of the no's. See, and whether we're talking J.K. Rowling, Walt Disney, Thomas Edison, Michael Jordan, every one of those people understood or understand that concept if they're still alive. It was the core of who they were. It defines who they are. That is why we know them as these amazing, just freaks of, we consider freaks of nature, because they've achieved such greatness and brilliance in their respective careers or their professions. Because they did one thing that the average person isn't willing to do, and that is just simply push forward. See, let me tell you something. As great as J.K. Rowling's books are, had she given up, we wouldn't know who she is. If Michael Jordan had decided to give up when his coach in high school told him, sorry, kid, but you're not good enough to be on my team. If he had just given up, we wouldn't know Michael Jordan as he is. See, it's those pivotal moments of rejection, of the quote unquote failure, that really defines us. It's not getting to the top. It's not being the Michael Jordan as we know him. It's being that teenage boy who said, I am not going to give up. That's his defining characteristic. That's what made him great. And so here's the interesting thing. He was great before we knew it. So let me talk about the second thing. The second principle. The second one is this, is believe you can. Write that down. Write down, believe I can. Write it in the first person, believe I can. See, I fundamentally believe that if you don't believe that you can, it doesn't matter what other people believe. The most important conversation any human being will ever have is the conversation they have with themselves on a daily basis, on a moment by moment basis. So believe you can, believe that you can win, that you can progress, that you can succeed, that you can learn, that you can do, that you can overcome, that you can find, that you can see. Whatever your goal is, that you can, to believe that you can. You know, one of my favorite examples of this is Muhammad Ali. I hinted at that in my last statement about not giving up, about knowing that you were a champion even before you were. You know, his famous quote is, "I am the greatest." And he finishes that up with, "And I knew that, or I said that even before I knew that I was." It was something that he said consistently in his journey to becoming the champ, as he's known, or the greatest. You know, it's interesting. He won 56 out of 61 bouts. That's a lot of fights as a professional in a ring where every single guy is looking to take you out. Literally, some of them to literally kill you. I mean, some of these guys are like relentless, amazing monster bruisers, like a Mike Tyson. Like guys out there looking to really literally just take a guy out, literally. And he won almost 92% of his bouts or matches in the ring. And 37 of them by knockout. So I think about what Ali did, and it's crazy. It is crazy what you can achieve when you believe the right thing. See, the thing that made Ali great, foundationally, above everything else, the thing that his entire career and life was built upon, is that Muhammad Ali believed in himself. He believed that he could. So my question for you is, do you have that sort of unassailable belief in yourself? Do you truly believe in yourself? Not that empty, hollow, I believe in myself, but no, that you really believe in yourself. That despite what happens, despite the outcome, that you still believe in yourself. See, very few people can say that. Oh, they'll say it, but they don't say it. Did you hear what I said? They'll say it. Well, yeah, I believe in myself, but they don't say that. That is not what's going on up here. That is not the mantra up here. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe that you can? Because, gang, if you don't believe that you can, you never will. You never will. Because believing you can is an absolute necessary component to the formula of success. You can implement the best system, the best approach in this business, or whatever it is that you want to achieve in life, whether it's something in your relationships or with your health or in your business. And if you don't believe in yourself, it's not going to work, because that is a crucial part of the formula of success, is your belief in yourself. So whether we're talking about an Edison, a Rowling, a Jordan, an Ali, an Oprah Winfrey, you see the common thread here. These people didn't give up, and they believed in themselves. And none of them did the same thing in terms of professions, all wildly different things. Some using their brain, some using their brawn. And Ali would claim he used his good looks too. Those of you who are Ali fans, you know what I'm talking about. All right, and then the third thing is this. Just listen to this, and then I want you to write this down. Derive your confidence from the process and not the outcome. Derive your confidence from the process and not the outcome. It's a very powerful statement. It's necessary that wherever we are in the process, wherever we are in our journey to success, whether we're brand new, we're not new to the thing that we're doing, right? For example, this thing of real estate, right? Or being in phenomenal shape, never been there before, done that. Whatever your journey is, it will be absolutely necessary that you derive your sense of self-confidence, not from the results that you get, but from the process itself. You've got to lean into it. You've got to trust that, well, if this is a system or an approach that other people use, then it will work for me. I want you to think about this. The Chinese bamboo tree is an amazing organism. If you plant a Chinese bamboo seed and you water it, you fertilize it, you tend to it for a year, guess what happens? And the answer is nothing. For a year, nothing happens. Now imagine, if you didn't know that, if I didn't tell you that, and I handed you the seed and I said, here, plant it, and you tended to it for weeks on end, and nothing broke out of the soil of the little pot that you put it in, you would think that it died. You would think that, well, unfortunately, that didn't work. But if you continued for months or a year and looked at it, still nothing happened. So you would think, well, man, I mean, I gave it not only a few weeks, not even a couple of months, but I gave it a full year and nothing happened. It must be dead. It just didn't work. The crazy thing is that you would have to repeat that process, not 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years, not 4 years. It is in the 5th year that the Chinese bamboo tree actually begins to grow. See, it wasn't the system. It wasn't the watering. It wasn't the fertilizing. It wasn't the care that you gave the bamboo tree. It was the fact that it just simply takes that long for a bamboo tree to grow. And here's the crazy thing, gang. Within 30 to 90 days, that bamboo tree will grow anywhere from 30 to 90 feet in that period of time. So you think about it. It took 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 years before it broke the ground. And then once it did, in just a matter of really literally, when you think about the entire process, just days, it grows to its full potential. So think about it. Diamonds, for example. They're manufactured. They're manufactured from people, cubic zirconia, and the earth, real diamonds. Soldiers, they are made by the military. They don't go in being these amazing machines. They come out of the process being amazing machines. See, they don't start out that way. They end up that way. It's a process. It is a process. Remember what I said, the pathway to success, to the yes, to the listing appointment, to the listing agreement, to a home under contract. That pathway is paved with no's. So how are you responding to the no's? Are you being the average person that when you get the no, you say, well, this doesn't work. So you move on to something else. You look for the gimmick. You look for some other answer. Oh, well, there's got to be a different answer. I watch people who, here's what's amazing. Lindsay's on this right now. She knows this. Everest as an organization has recruited more people into it than actually are in the company. More people have come to the company and left than are actually in the company. We have literally recruited thousands of agents. And you might ask, well, wait a minute, that's crazy. How is that possible? Because here's the deal, gang. George, Sam, and I, and your leadership team will only share the truth. We always have, and we always will. Whether people want to hear it or not. The question isn't whether we're going to share the truth, because that's a given. The question is, are the people who are in our organization going to embrace it? That is the question. That's the $64,000 question. And unfortunately, what we see in life is that most people don't like the truth, and so therefore reject it and look for different answers, never accepting it. Most people don't. And so therefore, they're on this endless journey to find different answers. Well, gang, I'm here to tell you that if there were better answers, I would give them to you because I want you to succeed. We're in this together. We're in the same boat. When you succeed, I succeed. When I succeed, you succeed. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So my question for you is this: are you going to give the process a chance? Are you going to give it a chance? Because here's what I know: it works. It's not a question as to whether it's going to work. That is not the question. The question is, are you going to work? That is the question. So remember, number one, don't give up. Don't give up. Number two, believe that you can. Because man, I know you can. I know you can. And number three, derive your confidence from the process and not the outcome. Because what we know is this, is that the process, prospecting, following up with people, working to set appointments and presenting to people, if you'll do it regardless of your level of skill set, because some of you are saying, yeah, but I'm not very good at that. I don't understand it. Well, neither was Muhammad Ali and any other person who was on their journey. Neither was Michael Jordan. Neither was Thomas Edison. It's why when Edison worked on his first version of the light bulb, as smart as he was, he failed the first time. Right? Brilliant man, has over 3,000 patents to his credit on an international level. Smart man. But just because he tried it once the first time, didn't mean that he was going to succeed. I don't care how brilliant you are, but you have to stick with the process. That is the key, gang. So stick with the process and know this, that if you stick with the process, you lean on that for support, you should have absolute self-confidence to know that this is all going to work out. It's not a question of if, it is only a question of when. So my question for you is, are you going to stay engaged in the process and stay on that pathway? Here's what I know about you. I know it's already pre-programmed within you. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to achieve any of the goals that you have set for yourself or that you ever will. You do. The question is, will you tap it? Will you remain patient like that bamboo tree? Whether it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 years, will you stick with the process so that eventually you reach your full potential? All right, gang, let's finish this up with some closing affirmations. I'm glad you were here with us this morning. I saw Jerry Scott out there. I saw Monica Mesqua. I saw Rebecca, of course, Lindsay, and many others. Gang, great job on being here. You started your week off the right way. Remember, it's all right here. It is all right here. It begins and ends right here. Closing affirmations.